Hello, and welcome to ET Garage. Today's video is going to be installing this power steering cooler. I went over this in the last video while I'm doing this. Don't run out and buy yourself a power steering cooler unless you absolutely need one. Like I said in my last video, in my 62 years, I've never had a power steering overheat except once, and that was during that an Auto X. And that's the reason I'm adding this, in case I decide to do another Auto X. I do plan on doing a track day at least. So probably good to have this too, even though it's going to be, I think, in November. Which up here where I live will be pretty cool. And probably get snowed out. So might be next spring I do that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get installing this. I'm going to show you some of the things I got to do first. So hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, here we are looking under the hood, and underneath the alternator there's some fittings. I could probably reach them if I wanted to really hard, or I had really skinny hands and arms. I could probably get to that fitting without removing this. These are not difficult to remove. The alternator, remove this bracket, well, remove the belt first, the bracket. The alternator, it's actually fairly simple to remove that, so I'll go ahead and do that, and I might have to remove the reservoir. Either way, I got to drain that reservoir and drain and flush the system and get to that fitting. Then I'm going to have to jack the car way up in the air, the front up, the way in the air, and go from underneath. And I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do when I get under there. Hopefully I won't have to remove the entire steering rack, but that's a possibility. So let's get going on that. Okay, the alternator's off. I got that line for the OEM or the base model cooler, which is just a line that loops around and it connects to there. Now this nut here for the cooler line is actually a 18 millimeter, and I have flare wrenches. None of them are 18 millimeters. I have a 17, I have a 19, no 18. So I do have an 18 millimeter. And I do have a bunch of extra 17 millimeters around. Like I got this cheap one made in Taiwan, which I ground open to 18 millimeter. And then I'm going to cut it in half and make it a stubby wrench. Make it easier when I go to put it back on. So hopefully that'll make it easier to go back on. And like I said, let's get underneath the car and get the rest of the cooler that's on there off and the new one on. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this. These are the factory brackets for the cooler. And this cooler right here, this line right here is the base model cooler. And it's held on by that clamp, and I believe there's another clamp back there, which they seem like they're easy to get to. Hopefully pulling it out will be easy too. So I guess I'll go ahead and get to work on that. So I'll try and get the camera somewhere where you can see it maybe. But anyway, it's pretty simple so far. One thing, you might want to put something underneath here to catch the fluid. Even though I drained all the coolant, you can see it like still dripping down off the frame and stuff. So I am going to have to clean all that and all that good stuff. So let me get to work on that. Okay, I got the cooler out. This is the base model cooler. This is all it is, a tube. Goes around a circle, and that's about it. That's all it is. And it's being replaced by this gigantic cooler. So, I'm imagining this comes, like I said, on the Z51 package. It comes standard, and it comes with the quicker steering. I guess the quicker steering generates a lot more heat than the base model. And like I said, though, I still managed to overheat my regular base model steering and an Auto X. So I got this. If you get one of these, or even if you get a brand new cooler, like a transmission cooler, and use that because you can't get one of these, make sure you flush it out, even if it's brand new. I already flushed this out, and by flushing it out, if you use any type of cleaner to flush it out, make sure you blow it out and follow it by flushing it out with the same fluid that you're going to be using in the power steering. Make sure you get the correct fluid in there. You don't want to mix stuff up. Anyway, back underneath the car, we'll get this mounted. This should be pretty simple. Let me show you something here. This, in case you're wondering, will go towards the front of the car. This will go towards the rear. This will be actually, imagine the driver over here where I'm pointing, and the rack will be right here. This goes up over the rack, and this hooks to that one hose that hooked to there. So I'm going to get this all up in there, and hopefully I can get that hose on there that goes on here. I don't think I can put it on and do it by putting the hose on here first and getting it up through there. I wasn't able to get that one off, so I doubt I can get this one up. So good thing is with this one, I got this from Mirrock, and he included the these right here, which is very helpful. The bolts and the little blind nuts. So that's going to make it very helpful. And because the brackets are there from the factory, it should go in pretty easy, I hope. We'll find out. Okay, I only put one bolt on the cooler underneath, and I left it loose so I can move things around. I was able to get under there with the stubby wrench. I first started it with my fingers, this one here rather. I first started it with my fingers, made sure I was to get it on as much with my fingers, because if you can't get it on with your fingers, it means you're probably cross-threading it. So I did that, went in here with the stubby wrench, and I went in with the full-size wrench, gave it some final tightening to where it is tight. Make sure it's tight, and now I just got to go back under there. I'll tighten up, I'll install those 4 bolts that bolted to the frame. Come back up here, I'll give that hose and the reservoir a good cleaning, put it all together, and then I will flush the system, refill the system and flush it, and good to go. Oh, bleed the air out. There's an air bleeding procedure. Maybe I'll go over that with you too. So just hold tight. Okay, everything's together. I'm going to go read you the bleeding power steering system from the factory service manual. This is the same for the L98 and the LT5. It says follow these steps to bleed air with the engine off and the wheels off the ground and turned all the way to the left. Add power steering fluid to the cold mark on the fluid level indicator. Bleed system by turning wheels from side to side without reaching the stop at either end. Turn the wheels from side to side several times may be required. Keep fluid level at full cold mark. Then it says start engine with engine oil and recheck fluid if level. If necessary, add fluid to bring level to full cold mark. Return wheels to center position. Lower front wheels to the ground. Continue running engine for 2 to 3 minutes. And it says road test vehicle to be sure steering functions normally and is free from noise. So that is the bleeding procedures according to the GM. I'll leave this up there on the screen somewhere, either at the very end of the video or right now, so you can look it over. And anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start turning the wheels back and forth. And because I also, one other thing I did when I disconnected the alternator, first thing I did was disconnect the battery. So I do have to reset all my systems, my radio, all that stuff. So keep that in mind when you do that. Okay, I got some, where I spilt fluid before, I got some cleaning up to do. I don't see any leaks. It's filled to the cold line. Power steering is working. Not going to put it down on the ground at this time. I want to clean up under here, and I might as well lube the front end while I'm here too. So I'll do that. Give everything a good cleaning. And if you're wondering what the power steering cooler looks like when it's mounted, there you go. That's it, right there. So I'm going to end this video right here. I hope that was helpful. Of course, I didn't run it long enough for us to even get warm. So I ain't going to worry about that. But, like I said, I'm going to end the video here. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.